Hey Capricorn, welcome to 8 of Cups Tarot and welcome to your second half of March. As I had suspected, the energy has changed drastically. The atmosphere has changed drastically for my Capricorns, as expected. But there is still an element of we're not there yet. And I think the universe is spending the next couple of weeks testing us in a way, making sure that the path we're headed down, because when you look at these cards, you'll see there's a definite direction that Capricorn is headed in. There's something that is pulling them. And in order to achieve what they truly want, there's a level of release of control that has to occur, in which there's a giant leap of faith. But let's talk about the astrology first, so that you could understand the areas in your life in which some of this might be occurring. Now, Capricorn, the transformation that you've been going through over the past several months. Remember how I said you were at the forefront? That you, having Pluto and Saturn in your sign, were undergoing a tremendous transformation. It's an entire transformation of your identity completely. So for other signs, areas of their lives are being transformed. But for my Capricorns, your entire identity and sense of self is completely transformed at this time. And so, you know, there's the baby legs, there's the getting used to stepping into this new form of power. There's a different way in which you go about getting the things that you want. There's a sense of change in your drive, a sense of change in your confidence, which is making a huge difference right now in what you're able to bring to fruition and manifest. So Mars, Pluto, and Jupiter are all really in close proximity towards the end of March, and actually Jupiter conjuncts with Pluto on April 4th. This is a huge deal for you, Capricorn. Honestly, we're not playing small anymore. These are great, big opportunities to expand your world, to bring you to an entirely new level. And I think all Capricorn has to do at this point is allow. There may be some tweaking, a little bit of healing, a little bit of forgiveness that must occur in these final weeks. But you're really being primed for something big. And there's a lot of work, Mars in Capricorn in your first house, that you know you have to get done. There's loose ends that need to be tied up. Mercury retrograded all the way back into your second house, Aquarius. So there was some work that had to be done from that second and third house in way of realizing your self-worth, what you bring to the table, what you have to offer, what you truly want for yourself. And then it's going to work its way back through Pisces. Now, Mercury is direct. It's moving forward. We're getting clarity. We're getting information. Our thoughts are being cleared. There's an ability to focus a little bit better. But we're still in the shadow. So there's still a level of figuring out what the hell happened in the past. There's still questions that have to be answered. And in the next couple of weeks, as Mercury makes his way through Pisces into Aries, as the Sun leaves Pisces and moves into Aries, where we work through the old energies. 444 when I just said that, so that's significant for you. And I'll explain the fours in a minute. We're moving through the old energies, gaining clarity and learning the lessons that we needed to learn in order to move forward. And this really is all about rapid movement forward for my Capricorns. You're paving the way for the rest of us. Sun and Mercury getting ready to cross over into your 4th house by the end of March and into April. We're talking about your home. First card out, the Chariot. I think for a lot of my Capricorns, especially Capricorn ascendant, there's an actual physical move taking place. There's a changing of residence, a changing of job, something significant, a foundation in your life that is being transformed and reworked. Now, the Chariot, the 7 card in Rider Waite, is actually called Adjustment in the Crowley deck, and that's the first card that came out. And so, you know, in the Rider Waite, there's just the movement towards what is meant to be yours, or that what's meant to be yours is simply headed your way. There's no effort on your part. But the Crowley Tarot suggests there is adjustments that need to be made. There is tweaking. There are decisions. There are realizations and clarity and breakthroughs that are going to come. And these little things that the universe is delivering to you over the next couple of weeks is really going to make a nice path in order for you to achieve. But there is the allowing for adjustments, conversations that need to be had, agreements that need to be reached. Like I said, the tying up of loose ends in order to create a new beginning. It is all about the new beginning. And this new beginning is very, very different for my Caps. And here's why. You could think Venus and Uranus working together in your 5th house. They are shaking things up for you in a way in which your passions and drives are being lit up. There is a need to move towards something that's pulling you. It's almost a destiny. It's a lust and a love all mixed up, and a lot of times in the past, relationships, 5th house, love, kids, creativity, these things might have felt somewhat burdensome to you as a Cap, because there's so much determination to succeed, to survive, to carry the burdens and the loads for the others. That's what Capricorn does. But I think that was stripped away with this conjunction of Saturn and Pluto, and I think you were given the gift to know when you need to let go of what no longer serves you, let go of the burdens and the weight, and chase the dreams. Leaps of faith. That's what this is all about, Capricorn. It is the leaps of faith you take now that are going to determine the level of happiness that you have in the future. And so big decisions are on the table. But there's a level of patience as well. It's still an adjustment period. And until these nodes move, I think that, you know, Mars going over the points of the eclipse now, and a meeting up with Pluto, and Mars meeting up with Jupiter. These are really big occurrences which are changing things on the outside for you. And not all of that is complete yet. So what you're looking at now is not a clear picture. But what you do have is an inner knowing and a drive to move towards something, even though you don't have all the answers yet. And you have to remain trusting and faithful in this process. And you have to nurture yourself and know that at times things can happen, wounds can happen, memories can come up, things from the past can creep into our minds, and that's the universe testing our strength, because we need strength to get to this next phase. And it's important that we move into it with a really clear and concise mind and an idea of what we want, what feeds us, what nurtures us, what feels good to us is the priority, and it's really so much less about what others think, what others require from us. You know, there's almost like this breakthrough in my Capricorns doing that kind of fuck it all thing. Fuck it all, I'm going after what I truly want, what really brings me happiness, and Capricorns are becoming their own first priority for once. But we have through April and a little bit of May before those nodes move. And as those nodes move, Venus is going to go retrograde in your 6th house. So when I tell you that changes are going to occur, 4th house in your home, changes are also going to drastically occur in your 6th house of daily activities. This could be a change of a job. You know, it could be simple as you're moving and now there's a change in the way that you take to and from work every day, a change in the routines, integrating other people into your routines maybe. Or removing people from your routines and having to learn new routines. Gemini energy in the 6th house means that you will actually have, and especially as Venus is there, even though she's retrograde, there's a sense of divine control and divine ability. You're being given help in this area. You're getting strength and insight in this area. Information, confirmations will come through into how to handle maybe some things that are thrown your way that have to be worked through. You know, again, I'm looking at a lot of changes in your day-to-day life and your foundations of your life. But that Gemini energy as the North Node moves into that 6th house as well, there could be a lot of attention turned into your actual physical health. 6th house is our body. And Gemini, Venus, there's transformation in the way that we love ourselves. There's nurturing that occurs. There's maybe buying the more expensive organic food, being really conscious about, you know, drinking the water, taking the supplements. Our health is a great deal right now. As for the entire collective, there's a focus on health. We're coming off of a full moon in Virgo. Virgo rules the 6th house of health and your body, and how to clean it up and purify it. So that attention is going to remain with you. And I think that Gemini can bring in some really cool information, some new and exciting ways in which to implement this new health. The North Node is moving from that 7th house into the 6th house. So not only are commitments and partnerships transforming, but your daily life is transforming and you're being prepped to communicate more. Gemini and Venus is very communicative. You'll be reaching a lot more people on a daily basis. Maybe in a form of teaching, maybe in a form of learning. But either way, you're going to have an increase of information, flow of information that's coming to you at that time. Now, we have a new moon coming up in Aries in April as well, as the sun and the moon meet together in your 4th house as opportunities, maybe the finding of a new home, and then the actual preparation, the packing, and the moving into it that will soon to follow. Very exciting time. Mercury is going to get into your 4th house as well. So there's such a tremendous focus on that. So all things at the foundational level for you are changing. And today and tomorrow, the moon is touring your 11th house of hopes, wishes, and dreams. So I have a feeling I was pulled to do Capricorn today because today, or the past couple of days and going into tomorrow, you may actually be experiencing some breakthroughs, what you're being emotionally pulled towards, what's coming up and bubbling up from the surface for you on an emotional level in regards to your hopes, wishes, and dreams, your 11th house, what you want to manifest in your life. And that's really important because it starts with that seed that you plant now, and the momentum continues to pick up. And although there may be obstacles that we have to work through, I say we because I'm a Capricorn rise, so this is very much for me as well. But there's a dream that we have to move into, and we have to make it fit and work. And so there's a level of flexibility. Now, Capricorn, you're a cardinal sign. You're the go-getter. You're the starter and the finisher, really. Because Capricorn cardinal energy, it isn't just the ability to start stuff and change stuff, but there's also that earthy energy that has you follow through and complete it as well. These are big commitments. These are big changes, things that will change you entirely. And so I must let you know that Rome was not built in a day, nor will your new life. There may be periods in which you feel like there's no movement, when you want movement very much. And that is the universe letting you know that you need to harness that energy. Save it for when it's appropriate, know when to use it, and know when to remain flexible and observe. This was a big theme for my water signs as well, as I just finished Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. There is a mastery of the emotions in which we are now, instead of reacting and flying off the handle, we're able to sit back and observe other people's actions. And that will help us make the decisions that we need to make. Let's look at these cards because they're really substantial. As I was shuffling your cards, every once in a while a songworm slips in my brain while I'm shoveling. It was shoveling. I was not shoveling the cards. I was actually shuffling them. I really need Mercury to get into Aries so that I can communicate properly again. But the little earworm song that I heard was Walking on Sunshine. I don't know if you guys remember, it's like an 80s song. I don't even know who it's by, but I think it was in the movie Secret to My Success with Michael J. Fox. And Michael J. Fox in that movie always represents a Capricorn to me. The ambition and the drive, but yet he has to manipulate and take on a different identity in order to succeed. And although his success brings him happiness, there's also a level of non-fulfillment because he cannot be himself and who he truly is. So I don't know if it's the movie or the song or whatever, but I think Capricorns are on the verge of really finding their happiness and really finding their authenticity and their passions in life. And there's a letting go of the need to manipulate appearances, to manipulate situations in order to get what you want. You're stepping into a power in which you're just simply attracting and receiving. You're not doing anything other than standing in a place where you know what you're worth, you know what you bring to the table, you know exactly what you deserve, and you're going to be really careful about who gets your energy. Where are you investing your attention at the end of this month? As I said, first card out is the Chariot. There is movement. There is communication with this card. Adjustments and the blue energy. So it's not, like I said, the Chariot in Rider Waite, it's a different deck. And so for the idea is the same. There is movement. There is balance. But this, it almost strikes me as like a Hierophant or a High Priestess. And there's so much blue energy, and so it tells me that there is communication coming in. There's a breaking open of boundaries that you once used to keep yourself safe. And you see he's holding the sword of truth, and he's kind of really placing all of his stability on that truth. So there's a finding of yourself here. And the green and the yellow pulled together, healing of the heart chakra, healing and the trusting of your intuition. And he comes out with the Prince of Wands. So look at all that chakra energy right there. I think my Capricorns have finally struck a balance. That red and yellow, that sacral energy, that solar plexus intuition and drive. And you see both figures are ready to take action and to move. And they're moving to a place they both really want. And I think, quite honestly, Capricorn is taking no prisoners this month. There's no exceptions. There is one direction we're moving in, and if you're coming with me, great. If you're not, you know, shut the door behind you. And I say that because we're not carrying baggage anymore. That Fool, that leap of faith, there is just this feeling, this determination. It's like something that you want to move towards and you feel it inside of you. There's no turning back now. And even if there are red flags, and I'm not telling you to ignore red flags, but this is when you need to rely on your intuition and you need to communicate your concerns and work through it. As I said, there's a need for adjustments, there's tweaking, but it is all coming together, and your ability to speak up, your ability to observe, your ability to remain focused yet patient is what's really going to pay off this month. And that Fool was also clarified, bottom of the deck of the Crowley, disappointment in reverse. So there goes all the negative thinking that's really created obstacles for you in the past. Five of Cups in reverse is letting go of old disappointments, letting go of old pain, the cleaning out of the subconscious, which you have been going through for some time. As that is occurring and you're gaining strength and you're letting go of those, knowing that just because something fell apart in the past does not dictate your future. Just because you had a divorce or a bad relationship does not mean that relationships will never work for you. Quite the opposite. And you're beginning to really trust yourself, which is the most beautiful part of this transformation. Queen of Pentacles and the Tower in reverse. The shocking information, the shocking occurrences has already happened. It's over. And so you could stop expecting the bottom to sort of fall out. And when it did, when the tower crumbled, maybe in the recent past, maybe through the eclipses in December, maybe at the time of the conjunction in January, whatever it is that fell apart within you, actually helped you to regain a tremendous amount of focus and strength. And you were able to sit in your sovereignty and to know what you deserved and to not settle for any less. You know, this could have been a partner that had a situation that occurred and you kind of had to let them spin out of control and do their own thing. Even a boss, even a, you know, any kind of, even a child or a significant relationship, there may be an appearance that everything was falling apart, but in the falling apart and the coming undone, you stepped into your power and your strength and the knowledge that your inner foundations cannot be affected by anyone else. You're in charge of your happiness. You're in charge of your stability. And you don't put that responsibility on other people, and therefore they don't have the power to manipulate or control it. Queen of Wands and the Magician in reverse. Loving this. I am loving this. Because look at her. This Queen of Wands, she knows what she wants. She knows what she deserves. Again, Queen of Pentacles next to a Queen of Wands. This is a harnessing of your feminine energy. And remember, I said, even if you are a man, there's a feminine energy coming in, which is telling you that you have to just sit back and allow things to come towards you. You're attracting with your state of mind. The Magician in reverse is the letting go of the need to manipulate. And so first of all, Capricorns, sometimes it's all too easy for us to allow others to manipulate us. And here's why. Capricorns have an immense sense of duty and obligation. And a Capricorn cannot bear to disappoint anyone else, right? There's a sense that if we let anyone down, everything will fall apart, like a domino effect. And we put this crazy pressure on ourselves to be and do and to hold everything together. And sometimes we could allow that guilt to manipulate us and the guilt that others put on us. And I think there's an end to that. Like I said, there's a stepping into your power. And knowing of what you're worth, what you deserve, and there's like an inner knowing that you're attracting something. It's so much better for you. It's so much more on your level and on your vibration, and it's like saying the rest of everything else can just go to hell. I'm not going to bend over backwards for people that do not see my worth and that are not willing to, you know, give back or participate in this path. As well, with the Magician card in reverse, I also see that we are no longer using our strength to manipulate others. So, in our need to sweep through and save and take care of everything, we may render the people in our lives a little useless. You know, if you say to a teenager who's trying to help, you know, say a teenager is cleaning a bathroom, and you could go in there and say, oh my God, you didn't wipe this, you didn't wipe that, you're not doing anything right, just give it to me, I'm going to do it. And I get it. We all get it. We're all there. We're all stressed for time. We're trying to get the most out of every minute and be really efficient and really productive. But in that manipulation, in the small thinking that no one can do it as well as us, we are loading ourselves with burdens instead of allowing others to give to us. We create a boundary that should no longer be there. And I think that we're working on this right now. We're working on how our energy creates situations, and we are becoming extremely aware that what we think in our mind is our reality. So if we are continually expecting others to fall short, then we're never going to get what we believe we deserve. But when we put faith in others, when we put trust in others, that maybe they won't get it right away, but they're going to work on it and there will be improvement and things will get better. Well, that's where we start to really step into our power. And that's where we start to really attract what we need, and we allow it to just come to us. There is no longer the masculine energy of having to go out and get and to take and to force. Things that are made for us are just quite simply landing on our laps because we believe we deserve them. So here is an ending to all of the hard work and the struggle that you have endured for probably close to 40 years, Capricorn. That's what this cycle has ended. and you're taking your power back. Pluto and Jupiter together in your first house. You can make anything happen just because you want it to. Challenge from the universe, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, Seven of Wands in reverse. Do not get lost in illusions that things are not happening. Do not give up on your vision for this future. Things might move extremely slow, but in the slowness, in the slow unfolding that we're going to experience for the next couple of weeks, there really is progress being made. But the progress is others are starting to trust you as well. They're starting to trust your vision and your idea, and they're starting to relinquish their control and remove their boundaries, take down their walls, and become more vulnerable with you. Again, you're attracting this without doing anything. And even if, you know, there's a joke about the manifestation that, you know, if you think, I want a cat, I want a cat, I want a cat, and then the cat doesn't appear immediately, then you think, oh, this is horseshit, I'm not going to do it anymore. And you walk away from the idea, and what you don't see is that as you're walking away, all of a sudden cats are coming out from an alley and they're following you. So the universe is delivering, but you have to make time and allowance for everyone to catch up with this vibration that you're on and to catch up with you and your level of momentum. Just allow people to show you and give it a little bit of time for it to work itself out. There's a level of patience here. Again, the leap of faith and the Fool, it's all going to come together. It's all going to work. And right now it's just the buffering of the situations, the smoothing over, and the healing. Here's where the healing occurs. Here's where the momentum picks up. Outcome is the Six of Swords and the King of Pentacles. So not only are you moving towards a calmer, more manageable situation, but it is a tremendous foundation. It is something that you can trust. Now, disappointments in reverse. In the time that this is taking, in the slowness, there is such a building of a foundation here. And look, in both corners, there's a commitment. There is a commitment that's heading your way. There are changes in your environment that are going to occur. And you may be, from time to time, in a place where you just simply don't see it happening. But it is very much happening. It is very, very much happening. And all you have to do is have faith that it will show itself to you when the time is right. Let's talk about your animal energy here, because this was also very stunning. All these cards coming out is just honestly the unfolding of the new you. And it's so poetic the way that it's happening, because, you know, you would think changes would be driven by this mass power and need for change. But really, Capricorns are relinquishing the need to change. We're relinquishing the need to control, and we're allowing the universe to deliver what we deserve. Sometimes we don't realize. Sometimes we're not even capable of dreaming that big. Sometimes we say, oh, if we could only win the lottery. And then we actually make a million excuses in our head and why. Well, we don't want too much money. We don't want to shake things up too much. Maybe we're afraid of too much success. And so the idea of this is to move it at a slow enough pace in which the level of success that is going to occur doesn't scare the shit out of you and make you want to run away. Trust the universe in the delivery. Octopus. reaching, yearning, lacking boundaries and direction. The octopus signifies a wonderfully perceptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. Unfortunately, this results in well-intended but messy relationships. The octopus entwines itself into other people's business and shares their own without restraint. They believe that that's what it means to be close. If you notice after spending time with someone that you feel drained or uneasy, the essence of octopus is at play. Begin to establish healthy boundaries. Be patient and firm. It may be a very old habit to change. Okay, so I'm understanding from this that, and I see a connection playing out here very prominently. There's a connection, there's possibly a moving in or taking a connection to the next level. But the octopus can kind of absorb energies. And everyone is different. So as you're moving through these energies, you may be very susceptible to some of the angst and the fears that are coming out in your partner. And you may be quick to assume, again, that Ace of Pentacles in reverse, that they're going to back away from this. That somehow everything that you want and everything that you're manifesting in your mind is going to get ripped away, right? That there's going to be a sudden change of their mind. It's kind of the old habit of expecting the tower moment every time there's a level of happiness achieved. There's also a part of us that realizes there's a lot to be lost, and then we start to lose ourselves in our mind and create situations in which it's all going to fall apart. And the octopus has to be very aware that we're susceptible to all of the energy of those around us. And so it's really important to form boundaries. If your best friend's marriage is falling apart, you could be there for them. You can love them through it, but it doesn't mean your marriage is going to fall apart. It doesn't mean that you're going to experience a sense of loss. We're all changing at very different levels and in very different ways and very destined ways. We're all being led on our path and to our true destiny and purpose in this lifetime. It's so important that we all have to raise our vibrations and obtain this happiness so that we can maintain the world that we're living in. That's the ultimate assignment at this time, and Capricorns are stepping up. And so there is a need to form those boundaries. If your partner who you love very much has a bad day at work and comes home and is short with you, if they're not making the offers you thought they would make by now, use a level of patience here. Have patience and compassion for those around you, but do not allow their trials and tribulations to affect your foundations, and vice versa. Also coming out is the Whale. Desire to delve deeper, profound peace, and ancient wisdom. This is one of my favorite cards. The Whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. This is so Capricorn. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is usually linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost and trust them to be the beacon in our darkest hour. You are the leaders, Capricorn. You have lost the most. You have been through the massive transformation, and others may be flailing while you're thriving. And so the compassion is so important. Allow others to find strength in their new legs that were recently born and give them a chance to catch up. And in that ability, in your strength to remain stable even when everyone else is falling apart, you become the essence of hope, and you become the creator of the new life. People are really seeing your strength at this time. Work your light. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations and a divine plan. So I think that you are well aware that there is a direction and a destiny here for you. And the star mother, how do you mother yourself? So if people in your life are kind of bouncing off the walls and losing their emotional stability, you know, we're all lost in a lot of fear right now. If you look at the virus and everything that's occurring, there's a level of every one of us that feels like, holy shit, the whole world is spinning out of control. And so in all of that, people may be very short and temperamental. People may be coming from places of fear. You know, again, I'm looking at a very clear opportunity to move here, and yet there may be a fear, maybe with finances or the ability to trust the future of our economy, you know, something that's causing you to not quite be ready to bite the bullet. And you have to honor those feelings. And if someone can't give to you right now, you have to have the ability to give to yourself. There's very much that the Capricorn has learned that you have to be compassionate and forgiving to yourself first and foremost. And once you've reached that, you can share forgiveness and compassion in your significant relationships. And thus, you will be able to reach a layer of unconditional love, that deepness that you so much desire, that connection with someone. You know, sometimes we reflect pieces of ourselves in our significant others because it's not as easy to forgive yourself as it is to forgive somebody that you love. And so sometimes we choose to work through karma in that way. And sometimes people that we love may hurt us. And I'm not talking about an abusive relationship. I'm talking about just day-to-day, you know, the need that you cannot hang every emotion that you have of self-worth on somebody else's idea of what you deserve. And if somebody's having a rough day, again, if they're short, if they're huffy, if they're coming from a place of fear, if they're backing away from you, if you feel like they're pulling back, you have to look at the areas of your life in which you pull back, in which you react that way. How do you handle fear? Do you run away from things? Do you get short with people? Do you put up walls and barriers or refuse to communicate? Because in the forgiving of yourself for that, in the understanding that other people do that and you do that, and the joint forgiveness for everyone is such a healing process. And Aries, that Sun in Aries and Mercury in Aries is all going to butt up with Chiron in April, creating this massive healing that you didn't even know was possible. And that's what is occurring right now. The healing starts with yourself, and then it goes on to others in your life, and relationships begin to become a lot more prosperous and a lot more fruitful than they are under the conditions in which they have to fear. And I want to read these two last cards to you because I feel like they're very significant. Whenever we're having a major move with Saturn, I always go to my Akashic Records tarot cards because they do reflect karma that we're working through at this time. And yours was no exception. 4 of Keys. Isn't that a beautiful card? Oh, please focus, please. See? Again, Do you see another chariot, another horse with wheels, another direction? But there's an obstacle in front of this couple. And I think the feminine standing behind the masculine is trusting that they will find a way. I like the way that the sun is kind of filtering through the trees and they're lighting the road. And it's like once you have the strength to move that one final obstacle, it's a clear path to your dream home, your dream life. Everything you've ever wanted and needed and hoped for is right there. And there's just one more obstacle to get through. Let me read this to you because it's really beautiful. A man and a woman have taken their carriage down a trail that cuts through a forest and continues to their beautiful home in the distance. A large downed tree lies before them, blocking their path. However, the young man carries an axe and is ready to clear the way. This card is a strong signal that it's now time to take significant action to remove an obstruction in your way. It may be in your personal life, in a relationship, at work, or with a creative project. You must be clear-headed, so be sure to temper your action with calm and forethought. If you are too urgent and excitable, you may waste your energy or even cause damage. On the other hand, if you're overly gentle and cautious, you won't clear the way completely. Be determined and strong as you work to remove the obstacle that blocks your steps. With time and your attention, the way to your dreams will be open. Oh my God. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm a Capricorn, but this reading is really like in my feels right now. I hope you're picking up on that as well. And then the Five of Forces in reverse. I love this too. I mean, this is just the little stuff. You've already done all the big stuff. So these tasks, these things that you're working through that Spirit's asking you to just clear out, you know, this is so simple for you, Capricorn. You're totally capable of this. You can do this, and you're like this close. You're so close to everything coming together. Oh my gosh, no matter, regardless of what, turn off the news, turn out people at least once a day, give yourself some time to really hone in on that vision you have, on that happiness that you're dreaming of, and just know that the things that are occurring now are just simply clearing your path. When this card is reversed, the winter shows snow-covered trees in a still landscape. It tells you that you are in a yin cycle, a time of receptivity, going inward and taking stock. This phase may call for you to be less active in the world. However, it is a quiet energy that pays off later. This passive receptive state is a good time to meditate, to connect with Spirit, and especially to make future plans. The winter cycle is often filled with inner activity mixed with peaceful retreat. Your external life may still require some sort of action. Be sure to undertake it with focus and inner peace. Remember to relax and regroup. Let yourself make plans for the beginnings that are to come with the spring, while yielding to the receptive energy of the time. I want to read this meditation for you really quickly, because I think this is really what you need to do at this time to harness the Akashic force. Close your eyes and with a deep breath, fill yourself with the calm and receptive energy of yin. Sense what situation in your life requires a peaceful yielding now. Then take another deep breath. Exhale the yin and then inhale yang. Feel creative power and powerful yang energy fill you. Where do you want to apply speed and action most in your life right now? Envision it. Feel it. Know it's coming. trust the universe right now, Capricorn. You've done all the hard work. Now it's all about the patience and the allowing and the dreaming. Be forgiving and compassionate to yourself, most importantly, and then to your loved ones who are all just starting to come around to your vision. So much love, Capricorn. You guys are brave and courageous, and you are trailblazers right now, and we are so grateful. Lots of love. I'll see you in April.